lads and lovelies. Captain Edward von Arkham here, coming to you from on board the MHS Hysteria. As you might recall, my last record log was untimely interrupted, so there we were. 2 heavily armed British warships flying straight for us. The wind was too strong for us to maneuver, and we only had 4 cannon shells on board. My mad brain was spinning at double speed, trying to find some solution, when, all of a sudden, I spotted something odd floating behind the 2 warships. A small, lonely cloud. A very familiar, small, lonely cloud. I pointed it out to my crew, and they all heaved a sigh of relief. I looked at my watch. The time was 2:47. Making a mental note of that, I sat back and looked off at the warships. Wait for it. Boom! A mighty thunder rang out from the tiny cloud. Instantly, the warships began to falter, then fail, then fall right out of the sky. Into the sea below. I do love a good splat. As I looked up, the cloud was flying away, as usual, and with the warships dispatched, it was time for us to dispatch them again, for the first time. I instructed Lytton to fly us to where the cloud was a moment ago, which was much easier now that we weren't being fired at. I sauntered down to the engine room and set the eternity clock for 2:40, giving us plenty of time for preparation. I shouted for everyone to brace themselves, and I threw the ignition lever, and my magnificent machine began to sing. I do love the sensation of traveling through time. The bright lights, the electrified air. It makes your whiskers stand on end. If you have whiskers. Within seconds we emerged, 7 minutes into the past. I rushed topside to get our bearings, and off in the distance we could see the 2 British warships, and ourselves. Our previous selves. With no time to lose, Roman switched on the steam machine, shrouding the ship in a thick veil of steam that to the untrained eye would make our ship appear no more than a small, lonely cloud. We all switched our goggles to hypersight so that we could see through the cloud, and aimed all 4 of our able guns at the most vulnerable parts of the warships. The back end of the balloon. I checked my watch. 2:47 on the dot. I gave the order to fire, and our cannons thundered! The shells struck their targets, tearing gaping holes in the airbags. I should note that the back end of an airship's balloon is the most vulnerable bit, not because it is less armored in any way, but because it is directly before the propellers, which as they continued to spin sucked all the air out of the breached balloon in mere seconds. Beautiful part of this is that we got to watch the warships fall out of the sky again! It's even better the second time. So, long story short, we traveled back in time and saved ourselves from the British warships. It's called an event loop. Chrononauts, take notes. It's a gamble, but if it works, which it did, it is a glorious triumph, which it was. And that's all the time for today. I'm going to do my victory dance. Until next time, stay mad, my duckies.